Hi, welcome back. Okay, so what I have here is the upper torso, and I need to do a bit of chamfer work on this now, just to kind of smooth the edges and make it basically a much more smooth model. Now, while I can go around each and every individual edge, double clicking them and then chamfering them, another option is I could just click hard, and that will select all my hard surface edges, like so. Which I know it's suspiciously easy looking, and we don't fully understand why, but there we go. And now with that done, I can just click the chamfer button and bring my chamfer down to a nice small amount, maybe 0.2 or something. Let's have a look at that. There we go. So nice tiny chamfer. Maybe make it 0.4 actually. There we go. And I can change my chamfers if I need to between triangulated and quad chamfers, depending on, you know, which one I prefer. There's the quad chamfer there. I tend to prefer the quad chamfer. If you're coming close, you can see the difference it makes. Just click tick and turn that off. Now, this has basically gone off and saved us 1 cubic load of time. Now I could literally just stick on a turbo smooth, and my model's the correct shape and correct detailing. And that wasn't exactly difficult, was it? It's like job is done. Let's quickly go around my model, just have a quick look at it to make sure everything's okay in the way it should be. But you know what? Pretty much it is. So that's pretty darn cool. So I'm just going to convert that now to editable polygon. And if I unhide all, so now you can see that the smoothness of this frame is now fitting in with the rest of things, which is going to leave me some freedom now to come down and do some of the pieces that I need to over here, of which there are many. So what I'm going to do now is start work on pieces that I need to put into here. So for this, I'm going to again hide unselected. So I've just got this piece. Please ignore me, by the way, if I'm sniffling and making weird sounds. I have an unpleasant cold. Now, there's a couple of things I need to do here. I need to create some plugs, which are areas that pipework can come out of, and then I need to create the actual pipes themselves. So let's start with the pipes themselves, and I'm going to use auto grid and just drag one out from here. If I have one, I can make another one, so it makes my job nice and easy. And the idea is that I want quite a few pipes. So I'm going to go from there to there, zoom in, hit F4. Now, right click, convert to, actually before I do that, I'm going to reduce my height segments, there we go, and I'll increase my sides a bit, just to 22, convert to editable poly, and then if I just select my polygon, grow, Control I and delete. Okay, so that gets rid of those bottom ones there. Now there's a couple of things that I'm going to start off by doing, okay, because one of the problems I have is that if we just look at this and hit F4, you can see there's a very straight edge going around there, and I tend to try and avoid those straight edges if I can. Sometimes it's too much of a pain to get rid of them, but not in this case. So I'm just going to double click, okay, and that selects all of those, and then I'm going to create a shape from this selection. I'm not going to bother giving it a name, I'll just make it smooth. Now if I select this shape, which should be just down here, there we are, go to rendering, enabling renderer, enabling viewport, and I need to reduce the interpolation. It's at 6 steps, really it should be at 1 steps. Sides should be at the moment 4, just want to look it over, and then from that I think I'll change it to 8. 8 should be enough, yeah. Okay, now right click, convert to editable polygon. Okay, so now our shape is now a kind of a tube shape, yeah? Now in this bit, I just select this edge and loop it, then control select by polygon, Control I, that'll select all the inverted ones, I mean, select all the ones that, you know, haven't been selected. Hit delete. And then if I go back to select by this here, and I'm just going to bring it in and then down a little bit. There we go. And that kind of blends it out there and attaches this kind of welded part to it, which is what we needed. Now I'm going to attach that, and because we have a chance here to do a little bit of nurneying, or whatever you want to call it, you know, just making some shapes, we may as well do that. So I'm going to inset, not too much, just a bit, and if I've inset too much, rather than Control Z, I can just scale out this inset a bit, and then I'm going to extrude it down like so. Now if I select that edge there and that edge there, loop them, chamfer them. Got to be careful, okay, 'cause a small chamfer is more than enough. Alright, that's a good shape. Now I'm going to get my edge loop in. Sorry, swift loop. And if I just select there, just do this and that. And just have a look at the shape I've created. Okay, so I'm just going to take these 4, I think it is. Let's have a look. 5. In my perspective mode, and I'm going to just bevel them in. Just a little bit like that, and it just adds a slight degree of interest to our shape. As you can see, I can go around and select these anyway if I want to, just to give them a small chamfer. Say 0.1 is maybe less, 0.05 will do. It's half of that so far. There we go, and I'll change this to the rectangular quad chamfer. Click tick. There we are. Add a smooth to it, or turbo smooth, or whatever, if you want to. Now, because it didn't go into those corners, our turbo smooth is going to leave that space there. I think I'll just leave it as it was. I think it'll be okay the way it was. If I want to, I can go in and chamfer those edges there. I'll just grab these. I do apologise, by the way, for the lack of exuberant lunacy going on in this. I just really do have a horrible cold at the minute. I'll change this to 0.025. Yeah, that's better. And this should allow a better turbo smooth. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, convert to editable polygon. Now I know there's some nipping and creasing on it, but nothing that I'm going to get myself all upset and aerated about. And now I can add another level of detail to this. So I'm going to get some cylinders here. And do that. Now at the minute this is 22 sides, which is going to be too many, so convert to editable polygon. There we go, and then I'm going to take the top on it. Grow it, Control I, just get rid of the back part, and then just select this edge here and loop it. Oh yeah, sometimes it doesn't let you, so I'll just select this and Control select by edge, and I can chamfer that. Change this to 0.025. Let's change to 0.01 actually. Actually no, 0.1. Let's try that. So many fun things you can try with these, you see, you might as well just mess around. There we go. Now I can increase the number of connect edge segments, just to round it a little bit if I want to. Once auto saves done its business. There we go. I'll keep it as standard. Chamfer, we've got some options here for like curving it and stuff and smoothing it. See, so I can just smooth the chamfers individually if I want to, or smooth the entire object. Okay, so that gives us a nice shape there. Pull back a bit. Okay, so now I can get my object paint and just add this to my list. There we go. And then I can paint on that object here. So paint with selected objects. No, I'll paint with objects from my list. Like so. Hit F4 so I can see it a bit better. Two. And then in this end. There we go. That's all we have to do there. Just right click out, close my list down and get rid of that. Now over here I can just attach all these on. 1, 2, 3 and 4. By the way, I apologise about the creakiness of this chair. It is so goddamn creaky, it's horrible. Right. Now what I need to do is take this and just do a shift. Make sure angle snaps on. 180 degrees. Click OK. And I'm going to bring it up like so. Okay, and the whole point of this is that we should be able to now start putting a pipe in between them. So I'm going to make a base one over here that we can use as our initial copy. Okay, now I'm going to make 2 boxes. So for this I need helpers, dummies, and I'm just going to drag my dummy out using auto grid for the moment. I need it nice and large so I can see it, you see. There we go. Now I am going to align it to that, including its orientation, quite an important part of that. Okay, and now shift, drag, and make a second copy, which I'm going to align the orientation to on this one, like that. Now, even though they don't look it, this one's actually upside down as well. Next, I need an hose. I'm just going to draw it out in here so I can get roughly the size I want. There we go, like that. And I'm going to bind this hose to the bottom and top of my object pivots. So my top object will be this one, and my bottom object will be this one. Okay, and as you see now, it kind of stretches up and reaches to the 2. And the width seems to be pretty much kind of spot on for what I need. Let's get in, have a look. Yeah, that's not bad. It's actually inside it, so that's a bonus. So now what I'm going to do is reduce my tension on these to about 25 on each. Okay, so that evens it out a little bit. And my segments are 45 at the minute, which seems about adequate. Now, I don't really want a flex section on this, because what I can do with my hose is increase the sides on it to maybe 18, that way it's a much smoother hose, and then I can use my polygon tool, my edit poly, to basically make our hose more detailed. So if I grab our hose and stick an edit poly on this, I'm just going to save this quickly as a workbench, because it can sometimes crash your system, so it's best to try and avoid crashing your system wherever possible. Just going to run model files, workbench. I know you have an autosave, but your workbench means that you can basically have it whatever you want to. Give it just a second. Alright, now edit poly. Okay, now I'm going to pin that at the top. And another thing I should probably do is I should bind by selecting and linking. So I'm going to select and link that to there. And then I'm going to select and link this one to here. Now if I get my top control and just use my move tool, you can see now my hose is going to flex and move. Okay, which is exactly what I wanted. Now we're getting, a little bit, well, not enough tension going on there, but we can fix that. So if I just come back to my hose again, and I'm going to change my tension on this to maybe 50 instead. 50, and let's see if that increases it a little bit more. Oh, didn't go back to the edit poly, which is pinned. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, that's much better. Because we don't need to move it too far, but we do need the edits on this to take place. Okay, so here, where it says edit poly, obviously, I'm going to be quite careful on what I select. I'm going to select this one, and then I'm going to select by ring, so I'll select all of these. Now if I go to my front viewport, what I'm going to do is hold Alt and marquee deselect all the bottoms, like that, and come back into my perspective and zoom. Now I can do a loop. Okay, and then inside my loop what I'm going to do is just do a quick extrude, and I'm going to extrude inwards. So change my width first, and I'm just doing this by hand just so that I can get the shape I want, and then I'm going to bring this down. Hit F4 so I can actually see the shapes I'm making. Okay, like that, and click tick. Okay, so now we can see inside here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is chamfer those as well. If I just click my chamfer tool, at first my chamfer is going to be way too big, so I'll bring it down to 0.1, still too big, 0.21, that's a good size. Click tick. Okay, now I'm going to unpin this stack, and I'm going to stick turbo smooth on top of it. So if I just T for turbo smooth, hit F4, and you can see now we have this nice bit of flexi hose going on here. Okay, now at the tops where this is, we should probably get rid of those because we don't need them. So I can go down into editable polygon, and I can just have a look at the parts I can remove. Okay, so I've got the choice. I can either lop off the top of these if I want to, or I can just leave them as they are. It's not like polygons to us have ever been too much of a problem, is it? So I'll probably just keep it as it is. So I'm going to go up to turbo smooth here. I've got one iteration on. I'm not going to bother with isoline display, but I'm going to pin my stack. Okay, and as I've got one in place, I'm going to make a copy of it. And that'll copy everything in here. Now, let's get our first piece to where I think I need it. And did it bring across any of the dummy with it? It did not, did it? Well, that's kind of useless. See if we can get it all. Right. Where's the dummy at the bottom gone? see myself starting to get annoyed by this. Okay, have I got lock on? I probably have, haven't I? There, it was on. Right. There must be a reason why it's not letting me select this bottom piece. I think it's letting me select everything else. If it's even bound to the bottom hose, let's go and have a look. Hose, pick bottom object. Which is my dummy 009. I could also just pick the cylinder and get rid of this dummy, it would appear. In fact, I can probably do that for the top one as well. Let's have a look. Yes, I can. Get rid of that. And click OK. Alright, so I reckon I must have accidentally frozen that piece, but I'll come back to it. So now what I'm going to do is basically move this into a position. It's a good starting place for me. So from viewport and zoom, and I'm going to move it just underneath here, like that. Right, now I'm going to get this bit. I'm going to make sure that my thing is pinned here. Oh, for God's sakes, I've used a reference again. It's starting to get annoying. Also, I did have this frozen. Right, so I need to copy this, but I don't want to copy it as an instance, I want to copy it as a copy. Copy. That way my pins and everything will be in the right place. Right, go over here, make sure that Turbo Smooth is pinned. And then I can start moving stuff. There we go. That's one. And now this one, which is pretty much next to it. Again, I'm just going to pin my stack if it's not already. I can just start working on these. Now, even though there's technically nothing behind this, I can pretend like there is. So I'll just bring this back a bit. And my front viewport and zoom. Turn off angle snap actually, that way I can get the angle a bit better matched up. There we go. And this one a little bit higher. There we are. Now I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to take this, and this, and just shift and group it, well, copy it to here. And again, take this and pin it. The thing I like about this is that I get a lot more precision in where I'm putting my hoses when I do it this way, which is actually massively important, obviously. Okay, just around to about there. There. Let's see if they're overlapping. Hopefully they're not. There's a little bit of overlap there, but I can send this one back like that, and then it won't intersect quite as much. I'll make sure I'm just bringing it back on one axis though, not on two. There we go. though. Nice. Next, I'm going to duplicate this again. So I'm going to get this one, this one, and this one. Hold shift, into about there, and then back in. And then I'm going to take this piece up here, as long as this is pinned. There we go. And I'm going to move this and the good thing about this is that obviously it's a very interactive way of doing it, so we can get parts to go and move into the right place pretty much straight off. There we go. Get this one across a bit. Lovely. Now this one again. And just shift and drag it. And then back into here. Let's find a good space for it. Now remember, you can use Neil Blevin's wire jumble tools as well if you prefer a faster method of doing stuff. I'm doing it this way simply because it gives me a lot more control. Wire jumble is very, very useful though. So if you have a look at Soulburn scripts, if you've never been there before, you'll probably find something you greatly enjoy. Blevins is a genius. He's like one of the big hard surface like dudes over at Pixar, and like I say, genius. Right. I met him before and he's like a really nice guy as well. Okay, have a look at that. Hello, little dog. Right. Yeah, that shape's good. Yeah, so anyway, sorry, I had to pause there for a second. But I was saying Neil Blevin's fantastic artist. I mean, what he knows, like, his skills are just phenomenal. Right, I'm just going to increase the tension on the top hose here. That'll bring that one out slightly more, you see. Okay, now this one again. And I could, if I wanted to, change the scale on the hoses, but I don't think that's really necessary. I was thinking about it originally, but then I thought, well, there's no real point. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with these anyway, so I'm going to grab this one, make sure it's pinned. I could literally kind of turn this one over like that, change the tension on it and have it stuck in there. Come on, watch. Remember, as I've said before with the Bob Rossisms, you know, this is your world. You can do what you want. That's the whole point of being an artist, is being able to do the fun things that you enjoy when you enjoy them. There we go. I'm going to stick that in there. Now remember, the tension on this hose is going to need to be adjusted. That's okay. Let's do that, and suddenly your tension's fine. Look at that. Got some lovely hose work coming in there. And at the bottom here we can increase the tension a bit as well. See? Lovely. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these pieces and I'm going to move them to about here, like that. And I can even rotate them if I want to. There we go. Oops. And I'm just going to grab this one now. Let me just check the hose is pinned. And let's just, as Bob Ross would say, let's get a little bit crazy here. So I'm going to put that there. And about there. So we get these lovely looking pipes coming in, and I can adjust the angle they're at. Remember to constantly adjust your tension if you think it's going to be an issue. Now I'm going to take this one, see there, and at the minute we're getting a lot of intersection. If I move it to there, maybe we won't get as much. Now I can just adjust the tension on the hose as well. So maybe just increase the top one to maybe 125. See how that comes straight out like that? I can make it come out further actually, maybe 150. There. And at the bottom here we can see that the tension, maybe I can just slide that in a bit. There we are. Beautiful. And then I can pass some hoses underneath that. Let's just move some of these a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to take this one. Maybe just put that one there. And if I just adjust this one, I've got pin on, so it should be fine. I'm just going to loop that over about 90 degrees. Maybe just under, because if it's just under, then I won't get the twisting that you get if you move it exactly 90 degrees, which is obviously pretty important if you want your model not to have weird kinks in it. Okay, and I'm going to move this up to there. Okay, so now these massive hoses look like they're doing something useful. They're not, but they look like they are, and that's a big difference. Okay, now the tension on this hose needs to be adjusted. Oh, wrong hose. So that's that one. We get the right hose on this now. It's that one. And just trying not to get them too overlapped. Okay, now I can increase the tension in this hose a bit more. There we are, and I'll increase it at the bottom as well. There, and now we've got these hoses basically coming in like that, but doing an excellent job of it. Okay, so what I need to do now is just collapse these stacks here. So what I'm going to do is grab the hoses that I've got. I'm not going to bother grabbing the middle one because there's no point. I'm basically going to apply symmetry to these. There we go. And I'll get the ones that are behind it. Now, like I say, if you're having problems following along, just pause, grab yourself a cup of tea, and what I've said many times in the past, okay? Think of it as like the whole Bob Ross approach. Get yourself a cup of tea, relax, and just enjoy the lesson where you can. Okay, now I'm going to collapse these, convert to editable poly, and by doing that, I'm going to lose all ability to modify or adjust these. However, that doesn't matter. Now if I bring these across to here, just copy them as a group, and then I can mirror them. I'm not copying my mirror, and then I just bring them straight into here, and I can just find a good place for them, maybe there, like that. And I think I'm an orthographic at the moment. There we go. Now we do have one that is going to be a problem here, I think. However, rather than messing around, what I can do is I'll stick an FFD on it 2x2. Do that, and I'll just select the bottom FFD, and then I can just move them across. Okay, it'll put a little bit of skew on the bottom part, but for the most part people aren't going to notice, so I won't get too cut up about it. If that's going to be too much of a beef for you, then what we could do instead is remove the FFD and put an FFD 4x4. If you use an FFD 4x4, just open that out, that means I can grab the entire bottom section move it across, and you notice that it doesn't skew as much. Yeah. So obviously that's quite important if you don't want your model to skew quite so much. Right click, convert to editable polygon. Now the front here, where this one is, see how this one's overlapping on this. Well, we'll just do the same again. So just a quick FFD, and again a 4x4. Just click here to open it, and just get all the bottom pieces and just shunt it in just a little bit. There we go. There we are. Right click it, convert to editable polygon, and it's collapsed. So now we have all these beautiful hoses here at the front, and if I just unhide all, you can see we've made quite a nice bit of progress there. Some lovely hosing going in. I always enjoy it when you do this kind of thing, you see. Find it great, enjoyable. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach all these fellets together. So hit F4 so I can see what I'm doing. And I think I'm probably going to need to collapse this. Just go through the wall. I'm not attaching the torso, that way I've got these pipes nicely separate. I mean, a lot of the time for a high poly model like this, rather than unwrapping it all until someone brings out like some sort of perfect unwrap tool that takes most of the effort away, I'm going to be using like procedural stuff on it. But I do know people who really enjoy unwrapping this kind of a lunatic level of detail. So let's wait for auto save again. Just go. Sorry. Just going through and just getting all of them. And like I said, on a piece this large, there is going to be quite a lot of detail we need to put in. So, but we will get it done. Okay, just have a quick look around our model, and that is making me glad and happy and stuff. No, I'm not using what I'm making. Go away, go away. Right, hit F4. There, isn't that nice? Okay. Oh, incidentally, on scale, see this little dude here? He was too big. I got the scale wrong. The actual scale for this is, for a person, right about that. Okay, so that makes things a little bit easier. Right then. So I hope you found this informative anyway. I'm probably going to, well, probably doesn't even come into it. I am going to be putting a lot more detailing into this, so that'll be something fun for us all to enjoy. And until I see you in the next bit, bye for now.